Assalamu alaikum. Today we study about biomechanics of wrist joint. Structure of the wrist joint. The wrist is composed of radiocarpal and itocarpal articulation. This joint allows sagittal plane motions and frontal plane motion and circumduction movements. In sagittal plane motion, flexion, extension and hyperextension movements are allowed, while in frontal plane motion, radial and ulnar deviation are allowed. These are the articulation of the wrist joint. First is radiocarpal joint and second one is intercarpal joint. In radiocarpal joint, it is a condylite joint where the radius articulate with the scaphoid, the lunate and the triquetrum bones. These are the bones of the wrist joint. While intercarpal joints are the gliding joints that contribute little to the wrist motions. Fascia. The fascia around the wrist is thickened into strong fibrous band called retinacula, which form protective passageways through which tendons, nerves, and blood vessels are passed. It's further subdivided into two branches, the flexor retinaculum and the extensor retinaculum. Flexor retinaculum protects the extrinsic flexor tendons and the median nerves where they cross the palmar side of the wrist, while extensor retinaculum provides a passageway for the extrinsic extensor tendons. These are the wrist bones which form wrist joint. Movements of the wrist joint. The wrist is capable of sagittal and frontal plane motions as well as rotatory motion, which include flexion, which is motion of the palmar surface of the hand toward the anterior forearm. Second is extension. Extension is the return of the hand to anatomical position. Third is hyperextension, in which the dorsal surface of the hand approaches the posterior forearm. Fourth one is radial deviation, which is the movement of the hand toward the thumb side of the arm, is called radial deviation, while in ulnar deviation, movement in the opposite direction is called ulnar deviation. Movement of the hand through all four directions produces circumduction. Wrist musculature. The muscle responsible for the flexion at the wrist are the primary wrist flexors and the secondary wrist flexors, which allow flexion movement at the wrist joint. These are the following: flexor carpi radialis, flexor carpi ulnaris, palmaris longus, flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus, and flexor pollicis longus muscle. These are muscles. Wrist musculature of the extension movement. Primary wrist extensors and secondary wrist extensors. Extension and hyperextension at the wrist result from the contraction of these muscles. These are image of the extensor muscles. Now, joint structure of the hand. A large number of joints are required to provide the extensive motion capabilities of the hand, which included carpometacarpal joint, metacarpophalangeal joint, and the interphalangeal joint. These are the bones of the hand. Now, these are the articulations. First is metacarpal and intermetacarpal joints. Carpometacarpal joints of the thumb is the articulation between the trapezium and the first metacarpal, while the other carpometacarpal joints are generally regarded as gliding joints. These all metacarpal joints are surrounded by the joint capsules, which are reinforced by the CM ligament, which provide its stability and allows movement. The irregular intermetacarpal joints share these joint capsules. Metacarpophalangeal joints are the condylite joints between the rounded distal heads of the metacarpals and the concave proximal end of the phalanges. These joints form the knuckles of the hand, and each joint is enclosed in a capsule that is reinforced by the strong collateral ligaments. Interphalangeal joints. The proximal and distal interphalangeal joints of the fingers and the single interphalangeal joint of the thumb are hinge joints. An articular capsule joined by the volar and collateral ligament surrounding each IP joint. These joints are more stable in the close packed position of full extension. Movement of the hand. The carpal metacarpal joint of the thumb allows a large range of movement similar to that of the ball of socket joint. Motion at same joint 2 through 4 is slight due to constraining ligaments, with somewhat more motion permitted at the fifth carpal metacarpal joint. MP joints allows flexion, extension, abduction, adduction and circumduction movements from digit 2 to 5. While IP joints allows flexion and extension movement at the hand. The large number of movements of the thumb compared to that of the finger is derived from the structure of the thumb's carpometacarpal joints. These are musculature of the hand. A relatively large number of muscles are responsible for the many precise movements performed by the hands and fingers, which are called extrinsic and intrinsic muscles. In extrinsic muscles, muscles with the proximal attachment located proximal to the wrist and distal attachment located distal to the wrist. These include extrinsic flexor muscles and extrinsic extensor muscles, which involve in gripping, grasping, and pinching movements. There are 9 extrinsic muscles that crosses the wrist joint, while intrinsic muscles with both attachment distal to the wrist are 10 muscles which provide attachment distally to the wrist. The extrinsic flexor muscles of the hand are more than twice as strong as the strongest of the extrinsic extensor muscle. This should come at little surprise given that of the flexor muscles of the hand are used extensively in everyday activities like gripping, grasping, and pinching movements, while the extensor muscles rarely exert much forces. These are the movements of the thumb, movements of the finger. Now, common injuries of the wrist and hand. Sprain and strain of the wrist fairly common due to breaking a fall on hyperextended wrist joint. Wrist sprain or strains are fairly common and occasionally dislocation of the carpal bone or the distal radius. These type of injuries often result from the natural tendency to sustain the force of a fall on a hyperextended wrist joint. Certain injury characteristics of the sport type, which is very common in daily activities or in many sports, include metacarpal fractures, which is common in football receivers, ulnar collateral ligament injuries, which is common in hockey, and wrist fracture, which is common in skate and snowboarding players, wrist fractures in non-dominant hand for golfers. Carpal tunnel syndrome, which is very common in daily life. The carpal tunnel is a passageway between the carpal bones and the flexor retinaculum on the palmar side of the wrist joint. Any swelling caused by the acute or chronic trauma in the region can compress the median nerve, which passes through the carpal tunnel, thus bringing on this syndrome. The carpal tunnel syndrome is fairly common disorder. Its symptoms include pain, numbness along the median nerve, clumsiness of the finger function, and eventually weakness and atrophy of the muscles supplied by the median nerve. It is common in workers at tasks requiring large hand grip forces, repetitive movements, or use of vibrating tools are particularly susceptible to carpal tunnel syndrome. It is also common in office workers who repeatedly rest the arm on the palmar surface of the wrist are vulnerable. By the modification of the keyboard and other activities, we can prevent carpal tunnel syndrome. Its imagery presentation of the CTS. Nutdeacon vein syndrome. Tendinitis of the extensor pollicis brevis and the abductor pollicis longus is common in this disease. Swan neck deformity, mallet finger deformity, and Botinian deformity is majority occur in metacarpal fractures and due to deformity at the distal interphalangeal joints. Asymmetry presentation. Mallet finger, which is mostly common at distal interphalangeal joint inflection. Botinier deformity is common at proximal interphalangeal joint inflection and distal interphalangeal joint in hyperextension. In swan neck deformity, proximal interphalangeal joint are in hyperextension while the distal interphalangeal joint are in flexion. Thank you.